So this is something really strange that happened 3 weeks ago. So my friend posted on Twitter saying, hey, my friend Amanda Holmes is single. She's in her 30s. She's successful. Men who have their life together can DM her and ask her out nicely. This post went viral. It reached 3.7 million people in 72 hours. It was shocking. Actually, quite mortifying, to be totally honest with you. We ended up deleting it after 72 hours because it was just horrific, the people that are online and the things that they say. And I still currently have about 600 men that have asked me out on Twitter on my DMs, and I just can't, for the life of me, fully respond to all of them. But I learned some really interesting things from this that I want to share that I think are just perfectly in alignment with sales.
Here is your daily dose of the Ultimate Sales Machine coming to you from the new edition. Visit ultimatesalesmachine.com to get your copy or multiple copies. I am your host, Amanda Holmes, CEO of Chet Holmes International. What you're about to learn has assisted 250,000 businesses to generate billions of dollars, working faster, better, smarter.
So I calculated, and of the 600, 98.4% of them said just the stupidest stuff. Like, hey, yo, you mad cute. Where you at right now? I need a sugar mommy. I had about 100 of those, easily, if not more. You're gorgeous. If you're ever in New York City, let me take you out. Pick me, pick me. I saw your friend's Nick's post, and I figured I'd shoot my shot. Guess you're getting bombarded with DMs. I mean, all of these were just so obvious that if they know that I have hundreds of people reaching out to me to try and get on a date, do any of these actually seem like you'd have a chance? No, right? I counted. There were 1.6% of them that actually wrote a meaningful reply. 1.6%. Give me a break. And of the nearly 4 million that saw this post, I gave 4 men my number. It was practically one per million that I gave my number to.
That just shows the state of patheticness of people in our society.
Especially,
right? Because it should have been more than that. And there should have been enough decently intelligent, men having situational awareness, right? It's not good.
Love how upset you are right now.
I'm infuriating that there's that many knuckleheads on this planet. There are. Completely inappropriate. I don't get it. I'm old. What can I tell you?
Well, so I thought it was rather interesting because it's got to be the exact same when it comes to sales, right? We're just perpetually just straight to it. Go on a date with me without doing any kind of courting whatsoever. Hi, Amanda. I'm kind of a mess, but would date you. I have a nice hat. I'm ugly, want to go to dinner. I'm pretty broke. I don't have much direction, but I'm very sweet and caring. And I'll make you smile and talk to you for hours on end. I'll bring you joy and love into your life. How many times do we reach out just knowing that we're going to fail? A huge portion of them reached out to me knowing that they would fail. How often do we have salespeople that do the same thing, right? I just found the dichotomy of this to be so entertaining. So I actually wrote, reading these DMs has been eye-opening. I think more men need my services on how to pitch than to date me. So I'm going to lovingly put my book out. Which, I only have 6,000 followers on Twitter. I don't have a lot, but it reached 36,000 people, and we sold out our book stock. So 6 months worth of books we sold in 3 days, which, again, hilarious, right? This whole thing was so bizarre. So what can we learn from this? Why don't we use humor? How about we get a referral or get someone to refer us to business? What is your unique selling proposition? How many of these men had no idea how to sell themselves? They have lived with themselves for years and they couldn't even sell themselves, let alone a product or a service. I mean, just shocking. Or, hey, what about showing that you care? So this one I thought was funny. What's good, sweetheart? Want to have a Pop-Tart? That's just clever. Kind of a funny one-liner. Why not? This guy said, this is a plug for my friend who DM'd you after the post. He doesn't know I'm sending this, but he is great. So here it goes. He's witty, handsome, wonderful. He has his life together. He takes care of himself and those around him. He smiles. He wants you to smile. We've been friends for 15 years. I've never seen him negatively impact anyone he comes in contact with. Like, what a great thing to have when somebody refers you like that. That guy I talked to because of his friend, not because of what he wrote. You have to be overwhelmed with DMs from people sent by Nick, but throwing my hat in the ring as a smart, successful, family-oriented, Texas-based, financially comfortable, just barely qualified as a multimillionaire, work-from-home attorney with my own public interest firm, just an unhideous enough that they got someone good-looking with more hair to play me in the HBO movie. Okay, right? Like, you got my attention. And the first thing out of his mouth is, you have to be overwhelmed. And I'm thinking, yes, I am. Thank you for acknowledging and having the self-awareness to realize that something is happening in my life. And then here's this one. Hi, Nick Gray sent me, which I actually opened more of the ones that said Nick sent me because I thought that he had actually sent it to somebody specific. And then I found out more people were saying that. I'm like, oh no, they just saw his tweet. So I saw his post, obviously clicked on it because you have a nice smile, and he said you were single and kind. He also mentioned that I was very wealthy, which was the whole debacle as why we shut it down. And it went viral partially because everyone was like, how dare you say that to the Twitter world? Like, that's going to attract the wrong people. And it did. So he said, he also mentioned you're wealthy, and that doesn't really mean much to me and isn't my motivation here. Immediately, I'm like, wow, this guy is very nice. After I clicked on your page, I watched a couple of your videos and really liked your tribute to your dad. I recently lost my dad and just felt like, so he continues it on. But already, what did he do? He showed that he cared. He gave me a nice compliment. He showed that he actually looked at my page. I cannot tell you, right? 1.6% actually looked into my page and made a comment about it. So just to say, right? Okay, 5 lessons learned. Social media can be an evil place. You really know you've gone viral when the joke of you also goes viral. So someone said this is what your friend would look like if she was Asian. So some guy took my face and made it Asian. And that got shared and got reached 300 times. It's like so bizarre.
We have a this problem in this country.
Or just on Twitter. I think the worst of people spend their time on Twitter.
No, it's just, I just can't believe people would take the time to do this nonsense. Like, go do something productive.
Not what you do on Twitter.
Oh, the books.
Yeah, it worked out for the book sales. So majority of the population give the minimum amount of effort shooting a losing shot. That was a huge takeaway for me. Very rarely do people know how to articulate what makes them unique. And that's not even counting selling their product or service. 98% of the population doesn't have the intellect to see beyond themselves, to put themselves in your shoes. And if you are clever, you stand out. And if you're observant, you're ahead. Interesting, right? Random and totally out of left field. But I thought this I have to share because this is so bizarre. Does that land for you, Craig? I think you're just laughing at the whole thing, huh?
I just flabbergasted. But the key, I do like, though, be observant in your head, right? Be clever, stand out, because I think this is the biggest problem with marketing, is that people are bland, mundane, boring, right? They're not a neon green fish in a silverfish lake, right? And so they don't stand out because they're afraid of standing out. And in corporate America, if you stand out, it's seen negative, not positive. But yet, that's why everybody's broke.
Yeah, that number 5 also, resonated with me. Be clever and you stand out, be observant in your head. I think so few people use video, for example, and I try to use video all the time. And I'm surprised, Craig, when people say, man, that's such a great video you use. I never see that in an email reply or in an email in general.
Of the 600, 2 people sent me an audio.
An audio, not video.
I don't think you can do video on Twitter DMs. But 2 out of 600 decided to do a different kind of medium.
Well, they stood out, didn't they?
What were you saying, Tony?
It's interesting because to me, it's like, as I think about this, it's like a real life situation. People find it entertaining, right? Like The Bachelor or different things that people subconsciously struggle with each and every day. And watching Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone or whatever, all of these things are a story that's something that people are like trying to figure out. It's that mystery, it's that hero sequence. And even some of the videos that where I'm walking down the road, people, like, I get so much more engagement than if I'd use the studio. But I think people want to get back to building rapport and being able to have people that relate to them rather than it being so scripted. Is that fair?
Totally. And that is the breakdown for how to be 1 in a million for your potential prospects through the lens of a very strange experience I had dating online. And that is another episode of the CEO Mastery Show.
Make sure to get your copy or copies at theultimatesalesmachine.com. There's a lot of special bonuses that you can't get going to Amazon, so make sure you check it out at ultimatesalesmachine.com.